To federal politics now, and a show of unity to kick off the Labor Party's national conference as Anthony Albanese made a $15 billion pledge for the nation's pandemic reconstruction. Live to political reporter Trudy McIntosh. Trudy, it's a virtual affair. It doesn't have quite the same atmosphere, does it?
Not the usual fanfare, Ash, that you normally expect at these Labor Party conferences. It kicked off in the last hour. We have seen Anthony Albanese opening the conference, delivering his address, but in a sign of how complicated this is, Party President Wayne Swan was supposed to be here delivering his address in person. He made it to Sydney, but as a result of the Brisbane restrictions, he had to deliver his address from his hotel room. That's the reason why, given the uncertainty over the pandemic and travel restrictions, Labor decided it was going to be too hard to hold this big policy conference in person. That's why we are seeing this pared back and sanitised, you'd have to say, version of the Labor Party conference. In his policy address, the Labor leader speaking about this $15 billion pledge for a national reconstruction fund. It's going to support manufacturing, in particular here in Australia. He says this is crucial on the other side of the pandemic.
We've learned the lessons of the pandemic. We're ready to lead for the recovery. And the next piece of the puzzle is the National Reconstruction Fund, a down payment on the industries and the jobs of tomorrow.
There's around 40 or so Labor officials and delegates in the room here in Revesby, but opening today's conference, former Labor leader Bill Shorten. This clearly was a very designed move to show the level of unity within the party, that Bill Shorten is willing to stand up at the national conference and welcome his successor. Here was part of Bill Shorten's speech to the conference.
Scott Morrison is the wrong man, with the wrong attitude and the wrong approach for this moment in our national story. But we know that winning government from opposition is hard. History tells us this. Only 3 Labor leaders have done this since the Second World War. And all of us still live with the pain of 2019.
Around 250 amendments were put to the party executive over the weekend. They went through them to make sure it was streamlined for this 2-day conference. Over the next 2 days, though, we will see fights when it comes to policy going forward. In particular, what about trade deals? Unions would like to see Labor commit to making sure that they are in the best interest of workers. There is also expected to be the usual debate about Israel and Palestine, and the role of gas expected to come up at this conference as well, Ash. So not the usual scenes of fireworks or factions meeting behind the scenes. An all-virtual affair. It started a little late. Not sure at this stage whether that was a result of some virtual hiccups.